It's been hard. You know, like starting all over from literally ground zero.
A message of hope found among pieces of debris. The words giving a Sun Prairie woman the courage following last month's deadly gas explosion.
And keeping you informed as we get closer to the Wisconsin primary. We're sharing where the candidates stand on certain issues before you head to the polls.
This is News 3 at 6.
Beloit police are responding to a shooting right now. They say 2 people were shot on Oak Street this afternoon. One of those hurt is in critical condition at a hospital in Janesville. The other stable at a hospital in Beloit. People are being asked to avoid the area. This is near the 700 block of Oak Street. The road closed between St. Lawrence and Roosevelt Avenues. Anyone with information should call Beloit Police. The number there on your screen. We also have it posted online at channel3000.com.
The westbound lanes of I-90 in Juneau County are still closed right now. There was a deadly crash this afternoon near Mauston. Police say 2 people died. 3 semi-trucks, 2 SUVs, and a motorcycle were involved in the crash. Officers say a semi-driver slowed traffic ahead of him. One of the semis involved blew up. The State Patrol says well over 6,000 gallons of fuel spilled onto the road. We will update online at channel3000.com once we know more about this crash and when the road reopens. It has been more than 3 weeks since the deadly gas explosion in downtown Sun Prairie.
And part of the area near the intersection of Main and Bristol Streets remains fenced off. Several families have been forced to find new homes, and a few businesses are still closed or at least operating out of temporary locations. Despite this, the city is determined to move forward, and we have team coverage of the ways the city is showing it is still Sun Prairie strong. News
3's Jamie Perez and Amy Reed join us now, and we start with Jamie, who shares a woman's emotional journey as she starts her life over.
Well, Welcome Home doesn't even begin to cover it. The woman I interviewed had been living in a hotel the past 3 weeks until a friendly face saw the story we broadcasted 3 weeks ago about this woman losing her home in that explosion. That friend offered her a much-needed helping hand.
That's when I went down on Thursday, getting close to everything. It's hard to imagine, like, that's where I lived for 3 years, and it's gone.
Reminiscing on that traumatic day.
It's been hard. You know, like, starting all over from literally ground zero.
Every single thing Angie knew as home.
It still feels surreal. Like, this can't be it. Like, my building has to be here somewhere, you know, or my belongings, or my bed, and, you know, just everything, my home is, like, it should be there, but it's not.
Lost in the rubble. While her building may have collapsed, she's slowly but surely building her life back up again.
It feels amazing. I've had a smile on my face for a couple days knowing, like, I'm actually moving home.
It's move-in day.
All right, this is my last load.
This is Angie's new home, but it's not a new place for her. Angie lived here for 4 years before she lived in her downtown apartment. A former property manager saw our story on Angie's loss and offered her a place to live.
I cried. I was like, I have a home. I get to call a place a home, not a hotel. Don't get me wrong, hotel living wasn't too bad. I had fresh towels every day. I had breakfast every morning, a place to lay my head, but it's not home.
She doesn't have much.
Everybody has said, it's just stuff that you lost. Get over it. It's stuff. You didn't lose anybody, it's just your stuff. And to me, I was like, it is stuff to most people, but to me, that was my life.
But she does have a story to tell.
I survived. I survived July 10th, 2018. And I want to put that little saying that I found in the rubble about endless experiments, living to know life. To be honest, if I was in my apartment 10 minutes longer, things just changed one little bit, I would not be able to have these endless experiments.
And some new things to help her in the art of starting over.
She came rushing over, and she's like, I told my mom about your home, and she wanted me to give you this. And it's like, I had quilts at my old apartment. And these are things like, they have memory, you know, they mean something. You can't just go buy a quilt at the store and have the same meaning. So to have this given to me is like, okay, it's a brand new start, fresh start.
Angie also says the support by the Sun Prairie community has been astounding. When I left her apartment today, she was heading out to go get a new bed, and she says once she's all settled in, she's planning on a relaxing vacation so she can rebuild some new memories with new pictures to place in her new home.
Great story. Jamie, thank you.
And Amy Reed also joins us live in Sun Prairie now as the community comes out to support Salvatore's tomato pies. Amy?
Yeah, people are starting to come in for the dinner rush. Many here eager to be here on the reopening night to support a business that's been so supportive for them. Now, we came here a few hours ago just as they were getting ready to open their doors. They were busy getting food ready, anticipating a lot more people here than the average Wednesday night. Now, it's been a lot of these workers' first days back since the explosion 3 weeks ago. They said they're trying to treat it just like a normal day. That's something the owner wants, to go back to normal. He's happy they can start.
Once again, we tried to do it as much as we could when we were closed. But to be back in action makes us feel like things are maybe starting to become a little more normal.
Salvatore's is just a few doors down from the explosion, so they had a longer recovery than some. The Chamber of Commerce said as these businesses reopen, it's important that if you want to support them, you come down, you eat here, you shop here. Some businesses aren't drivable, but they're still walkable, so check out the Chamber's website to see who's open. The businesses and restaurant like Salvatore's appreciate that. They love what the community is doing for them, just as these people here coming here to eat here on reopening night. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, it's great to see those people back at Salvatore's. Amy Reed live in Sun Prairie. Amy, thank you.
Area groups and businesses are raising money for the victims of the explosion. Earlier this week, we told you about a fundraiser at Monk's in Sun Prairie for the family of Corey Barr. He was the Sun Prairie fire captain killed during the explosion. Well, Monk's raised more than $17,000 for his wife and twin daughters. The burger franchise is also donating half of that total to the other firefighter, Ryan Welch, who was hurt in the explosion. News 3 will continue to update you on how things are going in Sun Prairie. You can find information on fundraisers and updates from the city on our website, channel3000.com.
Time to check in now with your first alert forecast. And for that, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Eric, there have been some showers and a couple of thunderstorms across southern Wisconsin. Right now, we're kind of in between weather systems. You can see this on visible cloud tracks. Some showers and storms developed closer to Milwaukee, and then some storms out to the west of us have been developing over the last couple of hours. As we take a look at high-resolution Doppler radar, there is a cluster of severe thunderstorms just to the south and west of Decorah, Iowa, north of Waterloo there. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that storm until 6:15. And there could be an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm along a line of storms that's moving through areas north and west of La Crosse. Here in the Madison area, things are pretty quiet other than a few sprinkles out there. I think concerts on the square should be an okay occurrence for tonight. You can see on future Doppler track the line of showers and storms out to the west, probably not reaching Madison until sometime around 10 o'clock tonight. By 9 o'clock, they'll still be out to the west of us. Low temperatures this morning started out in the 50s. Here in Madison, we bottomed out at 59 degrees. Current temperatures are in the upper 70s thanks to a little more cloud cover. A few places are in the lower 80s. And by tomorrow morning, we'll be down to the lower 60s with the possibility for some patchy fog. Tomorrow, look for a mostly cloudy day. It'll be cooler with a high of 72. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. The mother of the accused takes the stand in the Dane County homicide trial of John C. Jack Hammond. He is accused in the 2017 murder of his landlord, brutally beating Agnes Bram with strikes to the head inside her University Avenue home in Middleton. Today, his mother, Marjorie, testified, confirming she was upset about a Facebook post in which her son called women, quote, evil, among other things. However, she took exception to police claims that she told investigators she feared her son would hit her over the head with something.
And it was in every newspaper, sensationally on every television station, and it still is. And it is absolutely untrue. I've never thought it. I've never in my life been afraid of him. I wouldn't have thought it. I wouldn't have said it.
Bram died after being struck multiple times on the head. Hammond faces a first-degree intentional homicide charge. The trial is expected to last at least through the end of the week. Thousands of people are gathering to honor the life of a Milwaukee police officer killed in the line of duty. A memorial service for Michael Mahalski was held this afternoon. This was at the Assembly of God Church in suburban Oak Creek. The 52-year-old officer was shot and killed by a man a week ago.
The state's public health department is reminding people how dangerous fake weed is. They say the first death linked to it was reported in Milwaukee County. Fake weed is often called K2 or spice. spice. There are 45 reported cases of fake weed in Wisconsin since this past March. Highlights from the first day of the World CrossFit Games.
And News 3 goes one-on-one with the Democratic candidates for governor, where they stand on the issue of education. That's next at 6. With less than 2 weeks until the primary election in Wisconsin, we are asking candidates about some of the issues that matter most to you.
There are 8 Democrats running for governor, and Roche Smith sat down with all of them and tells us where they stand on education issues.
Yeah, education is one of the issues all of the candidates tell me is high on their list of priorities, especially because Governor Scott Walker has said in ads recently that he's the education governor. He set goals on freezing college tuition and making the state's graduation rates the highest in the nation. On News 3 at 5, you heard from half of the 8 candidates. Now, here's where the other 4 stand on higher education and K-12 funding.
I don't think you can starve our public universities or our public K-12 schools of resources for years and then say, well, we're going to also freeze tuition and not fund them.
Tuition freeze is only part of handling what we need to do with higher education. I'm advocating to make two-year college and trade schools tuition free.
Tuition is way too high. It should come way down, but it should be fully funded. And I would restore statutory tenure. I'd reaffirm our mission statement. And I'd boast nationally about having one of the greatest universities in the world.
What I have done in the alternatives that I've written to the governor's budget, which is to fund the tuition cuts, to replace the money that's been taken away, so we don't lose our best professors.
I would put much more money into pre-kindergarten because I think that when people are very, very young, the kids, 3 to 5 years old, is when a lot of the educational intervention has to be done.
The schools need to be given more money, but that's not happening. And that needs to change in the way that I would change the way we fund schools.
We need to focus on education reform, and that's making certain that we are having accountability, that we're having well-trained teachers, that we're having the type of personnel in schools that can handle all the problems that a lot of students bring to school.
Well, I think we need to fully and fairly fund our K-12 system schools. That means making sure that there are enough resources in the system overall, and that those resources are equitably distributed.
We have the full responses from all 8 of the candidates on our website, channel3000.com. And all this week, we'll be giving you more information to help you make a decision on the primary. We'll look at other issues on News 3 and Channel 3000, including the Foxconn deal, job growth, and school violence.
We look forward to seeing where the candidates stand on all of those issues. Rose, thank you.
So to come on News 3 at 6, what you can expect around town as the World CrossFit Games get started in Madison.
Definitely our #1 priority is to get kids excited about fitness.
And keeping kids connected through fitness, how the CrossFit Games are encouraging kids to lead healthy lives.
The cold front will bring a chance of showers and thunderstorms this evening. Cooler weather is on the way for tomorrow, but a big warm-up still on the way for the weekend. I'll have your first alert forecast in a few minutes.
The 2018 World CrossFit Games is underway now in Madison.
You should expect delays if you are driving on the Beltline in Madison near John Nolan Drive and Rimrock Roads. The games are going on near the Align Energy Center, and delays are expected near there as well.
Some area kids will probably fall asleep a little early tonight. They got a chance to see if CrossFit is the sport for them. They were able to do CrossFit exercises with athletes from the CrossFit Games and coaches as well. Hundreds were expected, and just a reminder, News 3 will be live from the CrossFit Games tomorrow starting at 4 p.m.
And Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is here with a look at your forecast.
A couple of showers and thunderstorms out there tonight. Tomorrow, though, we will be cooler with high temperatures only in the lower 70s, but it's a brief cool down. Let's start out by taking a look at the severe weather outlook for tonight. There is a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms from central Wisconsin through northern Iowa. By the time those storms reach Madison around 10 o'clock tonight, they should be weakening, so the severe weather threat lesser to the south and to the east. But you can see this line of showers and thunderstorms developing from central Wisconsin down into north central portions of Iowa. Right now, things pretty quiet across southern Wisconsin, other than a few sprinkles of rain. So I think the concerts on the square should be able to get in with no problem. But just out to the west, that line of thunderstorms continues down into Iowa. There are severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of northeastern Iowa, that in the area just to the west of Decorah. Those storms could be producing some strong winds, but they're pretty isolated, at least as far as severe weather is concerned. Gusty winds would be the main threat, along with some heavy downpours. As we look at future Doppler track, that line of showers and thunderstorms continues eastward, but you can notice if you watch the time here by about 9:15, those storms just moving into Sauk County, so probably 10 o'clock or a little after by the time those storms reach Madison, and by that time they should start to weaken. As we take a look at the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam at Platteville, skies have cleared out pretty nicely there. Lots of sunshine. And as we look at the WISC Skycam looking off toward the east, the skies are partly cloudy. The Edgewater Skycam downtown Madison, a little more cloud cover, especially as you're looking toward the southern end of Lake Mendota. Almanac for today shows a high of 82, the low temperature 59, very close to the averages of 81 and 61. And right now we're at 79 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Winds out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. The dew point temperature at 60, but the winds will shift around to the north later on, and that will bring in cooler air. In fact, you see the southwesterly winds here becoming northwesterly right about from Rhinelander to just north and west of La Crosse. And once you get on the other side of that front, those temperatures drop off in the 60s and even some 50s up in northwestern Wisconsin. I think we'll be looking for high temperatures in the lower 70s for tomorrow. This line of showers and thunderstorms moving eastward, but behind it, high pressure starts to build in. Skies will clear out for Friday, but these low clouds will be with us for tomorrow, and that will also keep our temperatures on the cool side. Notice International Falls only at 62, but once you get into the sunshine, temperatures back closer to the 70s to around 80 degrees. Forecast for the night calls for a low of 60, shower and thunderstorm chances mainly this evening, some patchy fog overnight. Tomorrow's high 72, just a slight chance of a shower. See those showers and storms moving through this evening, clouds lingering overnight. Tomorrow, plenty of clouds with high temperatures only in the lower 70s. Then tomorrow night, we start to clear out with temperatures dropping into the mid-50s. And as sunshine returns on Friday, high temperatures will be back in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures turn very warm for the weekend, highs upper 80s. Thunderstorm chances from Sunday night into Monday, ending Tuesday morning. Temperatures around 80 for much of the rest of next week.
It's not boiling, but Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer's in some relatively hot water. Paul, Chris, and the Badger football team are fine. They got all dressed up for Media Day, and we'll hear from them next. I don't want to undersell you on this sportscast, but Media Day is probably the most boring physical day of Badger football camp because it's pretty much picture day and talking to us before actually starting practice tomorrow afternoon. The boys in their freshly washed uniforms, they won't be crispy and clean for long. Wisconsin coming off a school record 13-win season, expected to make a push for a college football playoff spot. But head coach Paul Chryst doesn't want to sacrifice the process by thinking about the finish line.
And so you want them to enjoy those games. And if the best part of their experience is playing the game, don't worry about winning and losing because that happens at the end. So if all you're worried about is the end, then you miss the best part. The journey of a season, the ups and downs of it, that's the best part of it. And we got to be into each day and embrace each day and do all we can each day to be our best.
Coach Chryst said Alex Hornibrook's done really good things like quarterbacking a 13-win team and bad things like not taking care of the football like he should. But Chryst said Hornibrook's smart enough to know what he has to do to get better, and Alex can't wait to focus on how he needs to get better.
I think that's just refining all the reads and understanding coverages and everything like that. If you're knowing what the defense is doing and what you have to do with the football, then that stuff will happen. You'll be able to take advantage of the looks that you want to.
Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer placed on administrative leave. OSU's investigating the extent of Meyer's knowledge regarding domestic violence claims made by the ex-wife of a former assistant coach, Zach Smith. Now, Smith was fired in July. Offensive coordinator Ryan Day is the acting head coach. The Buckeyes open practice on Friday. Well, the Packers got worst-case scenario news about linebacker Jake Ryan. Torn ACL, done for the season. That makes the Packers thin at linebacker. So what does general manager Brian Gutekunst to do? Ryan started 22 games the past 2 seasons, racked up 81 tackles in 2017. So this is a big deal. Rookie, third-round pick Oren Burks, get ready. Despite the injury, Gutekunst said the train keeps moving, and he's not ready to hit the panic button after just a week of training camp.
Watching Ted all those years go through these scenarios, I think the best practice is patience. We have some young players that have showed some promise out there and kind of let them continue to grow into those kind of roles and see what we have. But at the same time, we're always kind of behind the scenes preparing for anything.
The Brewers have a little West Coast pep in the step. Last night in L.A., Wade Miley thought he'd just give up a solo homer to tie it in the 7th. Lorenzo Cain had other ideas at the wall. Going up, over, in slow motion, he still makes the catch. Wade Miley started it. Jeremy Jeffress finished it. That's how the Brewers have that feeling right now. 5-1 on the road trip. Game 3 against the Dodgers tonight, just after 9 o'clock. That's live television. I had a really, really funny thing to show you, but in the midst of my editing lack of prowess, a helicopter flew over the Chicago Cubs-Pittsburgh Pirates game last night, disturbed the whole thing, caused a little pause in the action. The government said it was just a training exercise, but
I wish it would have delayed it or completely canceled.
I think Gary got into the computers, maybe seeing the Brewers. They have a preemptive strike. They have a dome over there. They have the retractable roof, so no.
That is big news, though, about Urban Meyer. You just wanted to emphasize that.
One of the best coaches in the country, and yeah, we'll see. The investigation's ongoing. Timing is everything. They start practice Friday, so we shall see. To be continued, ...
Yeah, that is a big story. All right, let's go to Gary. Final check.
Some showers and thunderstorms out there. A little cluster of severe thunderstorms in northeastern Iowa, but that line of storm should weaken as it approaches Madison later on tonight. Otherwise, a little cooler for tomorrow. High 72 with cloudy skies and a slight chance of a shower, but we warm right back up for the weekend. And then much of next week seeing temperatures in the lower 80s. Thunderstorm chances highest early next week.
Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.